it's the connection here. You walk around, it's like I'm walking around with my people, you know?
That's the idea.
It's so great. Yeah.
Is
And
it?
the hall, the expo hall, there's a lot of stuff in there and a lot of the small vendors, like you told me to look for, so I'll be checking into them. And, yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. I'm watching folks stream in here. We certainly see Aberdeen is in the hall. Hello, nice to see you, Anne. And Bill, MR, it's all nice to see you come in and join us. As Robin was just saying, it's nice to feel like you're doing the show with your people. And I think
Yeah.
one of the fun things about that experience at the show floor is that you are in a building of 20,000 people you don't even know, and you know they are all on the same wavelength you are. It is
Yeah.
kind of amazing. You just get into an elevator and there they all are talking about new search techniques and oh my
Yeah.
goodness, full text search. Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one rolls their eyes at me.
And no one rolls their eyes. This is
Yeah,
a no eye roll zone.
they get me. It's so cool. So you can see behind me, this is the Salt Palace. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful building. Just This is just one small portion of it. It's huge.
I found one that we had a couple that have been kicking around the family collection, and a lot of ours have not been properly stored because nobody in there were proper archivists. So some that were in very bad shape, and I sent them off to be restored. And one of them was my grandfather holding a baby. And but it was so deteriorated, you could barely tell that, you could think, okay, that might be a baby's holding. But once it was restored and we could see a better look at the picture, and they were still in England, we figured out that baby would have been one of their children who died before they immigrated. Because first, when we looked at it, we thought, well, maybe it was my uncle born there. But we did some calculating on the time and thought, no, that has to have been one of my two great uncles who passed away in very young age. And back in that time frame, then more research, they may have been victims of the flu back then, because that would fit the ages. So and when you looked at the picture originally, you're sort of like, oh, like 10 years ago, you look at it and go, wow, that's like, we barely can tell it's grandpa, let alone what anything else is. And you think, well, maybe that, like, why would we bother keeping it? But it's like,
Yeah.
and the technology, as it improves, then that made it so that we could get it clear enough and we could look at other details in the photo and get a pretty good accurate time to figure out who it might be. So, and I don't think AI would tell me that. I don't think AI could figure that out because it's a man sitting holding a baby in his yard.
The power of a photograph. You gave an example. I gave an example. AI might be able to date those photographs, but it's not going to tell you the whole context of your family history.
Exactly. Like if that's your grandma and that was the only living child they had, so that the whole background is so important.
So important.